Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another quick Lord willing, Yahweh Ratazan edifying lesson, and for today's lesson is an emphasis on spiritual garments, right? And what inspired this lesson quickly was I was actually just in the midst of looking for essentially looking for a new garment, right? Like a new physical garment, essentially, right? And you know. And I just thought it was interesting because there are certain camps that is place a strong emphasis on the physical garment rather than the garments and the actual spiritual garment in their minds, right? Actually cleansing their minds, having uh, the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding, the character of Yahweh Shai, embodying the law, statutes, and commandments, as well as the mercy that Yahweh Shai actually exemplified, through, you know, um, through his time, through his ministry, right? And I just thought it was very, very interesting that a lot of our these other camps, they place a more of a heavy emphasis on having that outward appearance, looking the part, because it's fairly easy to actually put on a garment rather than to actually, but it takes effort and practice to actually apply and put on Yahweh Shai, put on therefore the elect, right? As a matter of fact, that's one of my precepts. So what I'm going to do is grab that real quickly before I ramble on too much. Let's see. Okay, this is Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. And it reads, "Put on, therefore, as the elect of Yahweh, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, and long suffering." In the minute, and sorry, so like in the, actually, I'll continue on and I'll go to the NLT. And it says, verse 13, and it reads, "Forbearing one another and forgiving another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Yahushai Hamashiach forgave you, so do ye." Right? In the NLT, it says, "Since Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, chose you, the holy people he loves," holy, meaning separate, "you must clothe yourself with" what? "Tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." Verse 13, and it reads the following: "Make allowance for each other's faults," right? Because we all have our our different tendencies and faults that we work on, but the point is to actually recall and remember Yahweh Shai, or Yahweh Shai, exemplified mercy, right? And one of the things, if we can't be holding essentially grudges against one another, right? Because there'll be moments where we need that forgiveness, where we need that that pass, right? Because we make mistakes, right? Verse 13, I'll read it again, and it says, "For allowance for each other's faults, and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai forgave you, so you must forgive others," right? So that is a good what's it called? That's a good trait to also keep in mind and actually exemplify, and that fits onto that spiritual garment that we want to put on, right? Because that's part of putting on the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, putting on the elect, right? That's part of that character, right? Because these other camps. I just wanted to draw the contrast between the camps that you know place a strong emphasis on that physical garment. But the point of this lesson is to go through a lot of these traits that Yahushua exemplified, and to put on the spiritual garment, placing a stronger emphasis on the spiritual garment rather than placing too much of an emphasis on a physical garment. Because the mentality of our people, for example, they place too much emphasis on the physical, especially these other camps. Like they dressed in all purple, IUIC, for example, right? And they go out marching. They're very I don't want to essentially, it's they're very proud, right? And the scripture in a Sirach that says the beginning of pride is when, essentially, roughly to paraphrase, the beginning of pride is when one departs from his maker, right? So one of the characters of having that spiritual garment was above, where it says humility, right? And that is a mind state and a practice that we want to actually continue to have, and exemplify, right? Let's get another. Let's see. This is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1, and it reads, Hear ye the word of the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Verse 2, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, right? And one of the reasons, let me read the verse 3 and make my comment. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest and work of the hands of a workman with an axe, right? And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this out was because one of our people, because we've gone into captivity for like so many times, we've taken on, and even being in a so-called like multicultural society, our people have taken on a lot of these customs of the heathen, right? And their garments are completely filthy. They're not clothed with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Shai. And on top of that, not even clothed with the understanding of the law, statutes, and commandments, because pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, this is what elevates us, in the sight of the other nations, right? We're not equal to them, but because we've taken on these practices, we've mingled amongst them, and so on and so forth. We've taken on a lot of their practices and worshiping their gods, right? So this is also likened on to having that filthy garments that our people like to wear, right? They're not taking on the garment, they're not taking on that wisdom and clothing of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? So what do we have to do? I'm going to get another precept on that. Okay, this is Second Ezra, chapter 14, I start at verse 33, and it reads, And now ye are here, and your brethren among you. Therefore, if so be that we will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, so reform your minds, ye shall be kept alive after death, and ye shall obtain mercy, right? So let's get the word subdue really quickly. Subdue. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, subdue in the etymology, it says to reduce to subjection, to draw away, lead away, carry off. Okay, so to place, set, or lay under, bring under. It's meaning bring a person to mental or spiritual subjection, prevail over or render submissive, right? So we have to subdue a lot of the understandings that we've had in the world, because the world teaches us, that we're, all these different bywords, black, Hispanic, Native American, that we have to worship Christmas and white Jesus, go to church on Sunday, celebrate birthdays, and and all these different things, right? And what the scriptures is calling for us to do is to subdue that understanding, because pursuant to Isaiah 55, it says that his ways are higher than our ways, right? And that's so true, right? Because if it was left to our own devices, we would be in this condition forever, right? Our people want to do all these different vain things, like, for example, establish businesses and go and teach finance. And, the point is they don't actually understand that there is more to life than, just having your money right. Assuming that the money that you're actually using is real money. It's not backed by anything. But that's another lesson for another day. But the point is, our people, for example, they take on these different customs of the heathen, and they haven't actually reformed their hearts. They haven't reformed their minds, right? They haven't actually, come back to the Lord, right? That's where real reformation actually begins, right? That's where you actually cleanse. That's where the cleaning process actually begins, right? By taking on the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this word, right? And that encapsulates this spiritual garment, getting an understanding of who we are and our culture and our customs, right? Hopefully all this is slowly like tying together. Let's get another. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 61, verse 10, and it reads, I will greatly rejoice in the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. My soul shall be joyful in my power, for he hath clothed me with my garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with jewels, right? And that also encapsulates through these different characteristics that I was going through in Colossians earlier, right? That is how we become more decked out in the spirit, right? In second Ezra, I think in 16, it speaks of that virtuous woman that has been decked out, right? And what is the elect going to be decked out in? They're going to be decked out with this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, right? And that encapsulates that spiritual garment that they're going to be wearing, right? In Ecclesiastes, it says that a wisdom maketh a man's face to shine, and the boldness, shall be changed, to roughly paraphrase, right? I'll read this again, and it says, I will greatly rejoice in the Lord, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. My soul shall be joyful in my power, for he hath clothed me with the garment of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, and as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, right? So if you imagine two people on their wedding day, and if you just imagine a bride, for example, a bride comes all, all decked out, with a nice dress, she probably has like a tiara on, she looks her part, she smells good, and that is us decking, the hopeful elect decking themselves out in the spirit, right? Having that spiritual garment on, right? you know um this is the complete contrast to our people, having, always focusing on the physical garment, like for some other camps, for example, that always have to look, they always have to look the part, but how do they conduct themselves, on a day by day basis, right? So hopefully Yaharataza, this is all slowly like flowing together, right? And the point is to being decked out in the spirit, right? Having that spiritual garment on, right? These exemplifying these characteristics, towards our brethren, if your lot is within your family, your woman, and so on and so forth, that you exemplify these characteristics, right? Let's get Matthew. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 23, verse 25, and it reads, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within are full of extortion and excess." So this goes into the mentality of a lot of these other camps, as well as a lot of our people, just even people in the church too. I've met a few folks that are like that. They go to church, for example, and they place a strong emphasis on, how their outfit looks, making sure their shoes are all, all polished, all nice, and they can see their reflection in it. They have their nice broad hats. Their outfits are, well pressed and stuff like that. But then when you actually look into the mindset of how they actually think and operate, and how they treat, whether it's their mother or their father. Maybe they don't honor their mother or their fathers. They're very, their children are the children are very, very disobedient. All these different, that also that represents that excess, right? That represents all that filth that's still inside them, because why? They haven't been washed by the word, right? Verse 26, and it reads, "Thou blind Pharisee, clean, Salakia, cleanse first that which is within the cup and the platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like whited sepulchres, which have indeed appear beautiful outward, but within are full of dead men's bones and uncleanness," right? So that is just, just a paralleling this mentality of these scribes and Pharisees, because they strictly focus on the outward, and they did not, focus on the inward, right? And then a lot of our people are like this, even to this day, go to church, they want to sing songs. Yes, I went to church, X amount of times this month, so they're feeling all virtuous. And when you really look into their lives, they don't actually, try to maintain these characteristics that Yahweh Shai exemplified. And even furthermore, they don't even try to keep the laws to the best of their ability, right? These laws are a schoolmaster, yes, but the point is to, rehearse the righteous acts, pursuant to Judges 5 and 11, right? It's a rehearsal. So, let me just get this quick one in Matthew, actually, and I can end it off, actually. Matthew chapter 19. Let's see. Because I made the point earlier about the law. Matthew chapter 19, verse 16. And it reads, And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Yahushua speaking, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is the Most High Yahweh. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Verse 18, he saith unto him, which Yahushua said, thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Verse 19, honor thy father and thy mother, and said, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, right? So, your neighbor is not referring to like the person who lives next to you, the person who actually, your neighbors is your brethren, that actually have that healthy fear for the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? Those are the men, and those are your brethren that you dwell close to in unity, right? Not these people on the outside, right, that have a complete disregard for the Lord, right? They still have on very filthy garments, right? They still practicing the ways of the heathen, right? So anyways, I'll end it off here, but hopefully Yahweh Ratazah, this video was edifying. It's just kind of a spur in the moment, and I just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Give honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.